Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Evanston's Rules Committee meeting for Monday, June 26th, 2017. Calling the meeting to order. We have a quorum. All are present. The first item on the agenda is citizen comment. I have a sheet with a lot of citizens signed up, but the notations next to the citizen sign-ups seem to be for council agenda items. So what we're going to be doing tonight is the Rules Committee is meeting right now, and the council meeting will convene after the Rules Committee. I know that Junad Rizki wants to speak for the Rules Committee. Is there anyone else in the audience who wanted to speak to the Rules Committee as opposed to the council meeting? Ms. Esther, okay, thank you. So Mr. Rizki, please step up.
I have a few items. First item is Alderman Holmes, who's not currently a council member anymore. This is the issue of the ethics violation. The council has to resolve that as part of your work. Not been resolved, the council can't just sit on it forever, so it needs to come to council for resolution. Second item that's been a point of, I think, my concern is the Aldermanic Library is used prior to council meetings for people, aldermen to go eat and use. There's more than 3 aldermen sitting in the library at many times. The blinds are down. Basically, as we all know, I don't even think it's potentially violating the Open Meetings Act. It is violating the Open Meetings Act. I like the city attorney or somebody to say why you can convene like that in that room.
Can I answer that question?
I mean, there's no rule against any of us. It's a question of whether or not you're talking about business. So,
well, the question is, we can't go in there and hear what you're talking about, and there's more than 3 of you in the room before a council meeting. So I would think you're talking about business sometimes. You can say you never do, but I don't believe that, since I don't have the right to go in that room as a citizen. So thank you.
if you'd like to stop in the room, you're welcome to do that. Lots of citizens do.
Well, is Wally going to keep the door open?
It's often open.
No, not really. It's often closed. It's closed right now, I bet.
Okay, Ms. Esther, thank you.
Just tell them we eat.
Yes, good evening. My name is Betty Esther. At the last ethics board meeting I was at, and they was talking about their procedures and how they should conduct the meeting and everything, and they went about working out plans as to who should be what, and the chairperson and everything. They were supposed to come back to their next meeting and finish that, but they didn't, because they didn't have a quorum. But if you look at that chapter in the city code, down chapter 11, it spells out how they are supposed to be conducted, how the meetings, how notice are given out, all that procedure and everything. And I thought, before they could change anything, shouldn't they be running it by the Rules Committee? That need to be looked into before they said this is what we are going to do.
Thank you for that. Okay, anyone else wanted to address the Rules Committee? Mr. Reed, City Clerk.
Good evening, Mayor Hagerty, Chairman Wilson, other members of the board. I'm just here to state my support for the recording of executive council meetings to allow for greater transparency for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes from the regular meeting from April 17th and May 15th, 2017. Is there a motion? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The next item is the approval of the committee chair schedule for the 80th City Council. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the schedule? Is there
Approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the committee chair schedule?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. The next item is a discussion of the liaison assignments.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, good evening. On page 14 of the Rules Committee packet, you have a listing of the committees that the previous City Council made a determination to designate council liaisons for those groups that did not have the mayor or members of the City Council as members. This liaison program allowed members of those boards and committees and those chairs of those committees to have a council contact. I know that those of you who were in the 79th Council attended those meetings from time to time, and so staff's proposing that the council consider this for the 80th City Council. Mr. Chair, if you'd like to go through the list this evening, or if you'd like to just have those interested aldermen express preferences to Ms. Francello or myself, we can do it that way as well. What's your pleasure?
I can read fast. We're going to get volunteers, right? If we're not getting volunteers, we'll just defer. But any volunteers for the age-friendly task force? It's age-friendly. It's friendly. Okay. Arts Council. Board of Ethics.
Oh, I'd like to be on that.
Okay. Alderman Rainey is volunteering for Board of Ethics. Citizens Police Advisory Committee.
I'll take that one.
Okay. Alderman Fleming. Commission on Aging. Design and Project Review Committee. Alderman Fisk. Environment Board. Alderman Ravel. Firefighter Suspension Board.
I would like that one.
Thank you, Alderman Sufferton. Housing, Homelessness, and Human Relations.
I have a question, because Eleanor and I are on that one, aren't we?
Well, then that should not be on the list.
Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you for that. Library Board. Alderman Nguyen. Mental Health Board.
I'll take that one.
Thank you. Parks, Recreation, Community Services. I'll do that one. In the absence of anybody else. Okay. Plan Commission. Police Pension.
I'll take that one as well.
Beautiful. Preservation. Okay.
Judy,
Thank
you
you.
can do that.
Public Safety.
You know, Don, I'll do preservation too.
Thank you. Public Safety.
What is that?
It's the Civil Service Commission.
Oh, civil service. Can we
Is that a
be on
volunteer?
two?
What's that?
Can we be on two?
Absolutely.
I'll be on that.
Okay. Utilities Commission.
No, you just go one a year.
Zoning Board, I'd like to be on that unless anybody else feels strongly about it. Okay. All right. We will pick up with the others on another date.
Don,
Yes.
I'll do the age-friendly tax, the first one.
Thank you, Alderman Nguyen. Okay. Okay, we also apparently have 2 aldermanic vacancies for the Animal Welfare Board. The prior representative is on the... I don't know that having a puppy is necessarily a full qualification for that. Okay, Alderman Braithwaite, is there a second?
My dog died.
Okay, well, we'll have that vacancy, and we'll address the remaining vacancies at the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, so could you review the ones that, of the boards and commissions where we're still looking for liaisons, just in case
Dar, why don't you go
one
ahead?
of them...
Arts Council, Commission on Aging, and Utilities Commission. So it's just 3.
I could do the Utilities Commission.
Which one? I'm sorry. I'll remember.
Utilities.
Okay.
And I could do Arts Council.
I'll take Commission on Aging.
Great.
Got them done. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. All right, on to the
We're just going to serve the committee.
next item, which is the council meeting calendar for the remainder of 2017. Have all had an opportunity to review the calendar? Any changes or revisions? All in favor?
Well, Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
I think the likelihood that we have the city manager evaluation on July 17th is remote at this point.
And that's on this agenda later,
Oh,
on tonight's agenda.
okay. never mind. We'll
Okay, so
discuss it in a minute.
okay, so we're looking at the council's schedule for this year. Alderman Nguyen, is that a motion to strike the 17th date for the evaluation?
Yes, for this year.
All right, is there a second? Second. Okay. All in favor of striking that July 17 date, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we will pick up the issue later in the meeting. Okay, with that revision, all those in favor of accepting the revised council meeting schedule for 2017? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved. Next item for discussion is a conversation about the city council travel, no,
No,
the annual city manager evaluation. So, previously, Alderman Nguyen, I think you were one of the ones who spearheaded the organization to get the information together. Any thoughts on what a realistic timetable might be?
I think that if we I think early October or late September, but we really should not let it go beyond that. I'm looking at this for the city manager evaluation. It would be better if we did it in early September.
Okay, and you're going to need a couple people to help you out with that.
I'm happy to serve on that
Thank you.
committee again.
Okay, do I have Eleanor Ravel? Or Alderman Ravel? Thank you. Is two people enough to handle that, or I think before we had three?
We had 3 before, but can the mayor can be on it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll
I'd like
the
to be
third.
on
All right, so with the
We'll
three
work
of you.
out.
Okay, let's have you report back to us on a specific schedule at the next Rules Committee meeting then. Okay, and but the aim will be to get it done. Let's see if we can get it done in September.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea.
Is that-
So
I think August, with the short meeting schedule, I don't know that we'll get.
August, I think, is a little bit too difficult. But if we can get all the materials back from the council members in a timely fashion, then we could probably do it very early in September.
Okay. All right. Everybody hear that? Timely fashion. Email, it's easy. Okay, thank you. All right. Next item is discussion of the City Council travel and training policy. Previously, City Manager, why don't you kind of go through the prior methodology for this?
Certainly, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. The memorandum beginning on page 16 reviews where we have been in previous years. There's really not been a formal policy. The council members have attended the annual conference and the Congressional Cities Conference of the National League of Cities, as well as the annual conference of the Illinois Municipal League. One or two council members have attended these meetings over the last several years. A notable exception was the 2012 NLC Congressional Cities Conference, where 5 members of the City Council attended. And then also there are some local meetings, most notably the annual dinner and legislative breakfast of the Northwest Municipal Conference. The mayor has regularly attended the winter meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors in Washington, as well as the annual conference of the Illinois Municipal League. And I know that Mayor Haggerty just returned from the annual conference of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. So it's kind of been all over the board. We did a little bit of research on sister communities around Cook County, what they do for travel and training, and that information is also included. Budget ranges from the Village of Schaumburg, $54,000 a year, Oak Park, $7,000, Arlington Heights, $3,000 currently. The City of Evanston has a budget of $8,000 for travel and training. Actual expenditures have ranged from last year of a little over $6,000 to a little over $10,500 in 2015. So, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I know that this is an issue for some folks. Alderman Fleming has expressed interest in attending a National League of Cities meeting coming up over the next few weeks. So working with the mayor and with the chairman of the Rules Committee, that has been approved, so she'll be going to that. The National League of Cities meeting, registration deadlines are coming up, and that meeting is in November in Charlotte. So I think the committee and the council has a couple of options. You can kind of leave it how you've had it, and that is the best judgment of the individual members. You could divide it up dollar-wise for each member of the council and the mayor, or come up with another plan. I guess my recommendation of that would be is that there's a history of Evanston council members being very responsible in travel and training, and I think perhaps if the you're all of agreement to that, then I think whatever individual travel and training the members of the council and the mayor feels appropriate would be funded within the budget. And when we hit the budget, we can have further discussions.
Thank you. Alderman Rainey.
Well, I'm a little disappointed to hear that presentation because I've indicated that this year I am going to Charlotte to the National League of Cities conference, and I've already registered, and my registration is close to $800 just for the registration alone. Has nothing to do with airfare or hotel. And the last time I went to a conference was when Michael Summers, attention, was an alderman. He's been dead many years. And Lorraine Morton was an alderman. And that was, I believe, in 1980-something. So I am really looking forward to this council approving my trip to the National League of Cities. I went to a conference with the mayor, Mayor Tisdall, last year at the Hilton. I don't know what we pay to belong to the
Illinois Municipal League.
What is it? Illinois Municipal League. But it was the most pathetic conference I've ever been to. People were just, it was just horrible. I think we ought to withdraw from that unless we sell those people water. But it was just horrible. The National League of Cities is a valuable organization. And can you tell us what we pay for our annual dues there?
I can look it up online because we have it disclosed. If you give me a moment, I can do that.
It's quite a lot. And my point is, if we're going to be paying that kind of money to belong to a prestigious organization, then we ought to send people to their functions. And I really encourage us to recognize the importance of that organization. And so, to say that we're going to set the limit at $10,000 for aldermen to attend these conferences for an entire year, I think is really cheaping out and not encouraging the training and education of aldermen. And
Okay. While he's looking that up, Alderman Braithwaite had some comments.
Thank you, Alderman Wilson. Earlier I actually spoke to the mayor, and he shared that he had went away to the mayor's conference, and he had such excitement in his voice, not only from just what he learned, but the people that he met. And I think it's been probably, Alderman Rainey, maybe 5 years since I've had an opportunity to go to a conference and to the newer members, and I'm glad that Alderman Fleming, you're taking the initiative. Great opportunity just to see and get caught up on what's going on nationally. I mean, not only do you learn from the conference content that or the classes or sessions that you attend, but also in just networking with other city council members across the nation. So I'm definitely in favor of increase. It's sort of difficult for me to understand why we're even having this topic. I don't think that this is, it's something that needs to be fixed, but it does, just to make sense out of the numbers, and I've always been curious about this, and maybe this may not be the right setting, and maybe we can bring it back to AP&W. I would be curious to know what the staff budget is, because we constantly see these bills come across, and to be honest, I've never really added them up. And I think, Alderman Rainey, you asked that question earlier today about one of the bills. So I would like to get an account, or maybe a 3-year history on staff travel, training. I'm sure there's some staff, I've heard we even pay for their education, just to understand what we're funding with our staff.
But we encourage it. We encourage it.
There's no question.
We want them to do it.
I agree, and I think we should do the same thing. I just want to know what that number looks like, is all I'm saying. Because I think our number is relatively small, and it's never been abused. So, again, on a separate conversation, I would like to see that And at the same time, I'm encouraging new council members to take advantage of these opportunities.
All right, thank you for that. As the memo reflects, we have, from our budgeting process last year, allocated $8,000. I think the threshold question really, though, is do we want to change the way we've done it in the past? And the way we've done it in the past is those who are interested in one suggest that they're interested in it, and then they will attend them. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't think we need to do something where everybody goes. I don't think we need to go. I don't really attend these, but I think that others who have attended have brought back useful information for myself and from the group, or for the group. Alderman Rainey.
Well, recognizing how we're, how the kind of money we make doing this, perhaps the way to, like you say, the way to control it is, 2 or 3 people can go, or, depending on the importance of the conference. That's the way we should control it, because we can't, you could pay a quarter of your annual salary to go to one conference almost. I mean, it just gets crazy. And so maybe, there's no reason for 5 aldermen to go to one annual conference.
Which we've never done. So, right. Yeah, which we've never done. So.
No, we did. We actually did.
One time.
So that's not necessary. And so maybe 2 or 3 to an annual conference. Anybody wants to go to the thing I went to last year, waste the city's money, I guess you could do that. But I just think to say put a limit on it, that's not the way to go, I don't think. So.
Thank you. Mayor Hagerty.
Yeah, I would just advocate, just like with our staff. I think there is tremendous value in professional development, from learning from others in other communities. We are a wonderful community, and when you go to a really high caliber conference like the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and you hear these other mayors talk, or if you go to the National League of Cities and you hear these other council members talk, you really feel good about the things that we're doing, but you also have your eyes open to things that others are doing. And we were pretty fortunate at this U.S. Conference of Mayors this weekend to have Bill Clinton come and speak to all of the mayors. There were about 260 mayors there. And Bill Clinton said, he was terrific, and he said at one point, he said, I never prided myself on being number 1. I prided myself on us being number 2. And by that, what he meant is taking an idea that he heard from another governor or he heard from another senator in a different state and taking it home to his. And there is this real sense that we're all in this together with all of these council members or all of these mayors, and a willingness to share. And so I'll just give one example from this conference, and I've got to collect all my notes and everything, and I intend to share it with the city manager and with the council members here. But Ithaca, New York was, the mayor was up and he was awarded a $50,000 prize. And the prize was for this program that they created because they had a panhandling problem in Ithaca, New York. And to address the panhandling problem, they got the businesses in the business district down there to agree that if someone who was homeless came into your shop and asked for something that was sort of a basic, need type of thing, a sandwich, a drink, you would give that to them, and that you would keep track of sort of what you gave out, and then they set up basically donation stations around Ithaca. That's raised thousands and thousands of dollars and helped reduce their panhandling, and they won some big award at this U.S. Conference of Mayors. So I just throw that out as one example. Again, my expectation would be when we are going, and I know everybody up here would share that you are there to learn, and bring back to Evanston, good practices that are going on in other places. And you're also there to network and get to know other colleagues around the country, and there's tremendous value in that. So I would encourage the council to consider having a process here where different council members who wish to go to high quality ones do.
Thank you. Alderman Nguyen.
Well, I think Mayor Hagerty said pretty much what I was going to say. I've been to the National League of Cities conference in Washington, D.C. probably 4 times, and it is the high-quality conferences are very, very valuable. That's where I first learned about the type of program we now have of Cradle to Career, was at a workshop there about 4 years ago. And there are a number of other very good programs that I've learned about, shared with the various members of the council or city staff, when I've gone to the very high-quality ones that really, they plan far in advance, and it's an excellent way of sharing lots of different information between communities. And so I think that it's very valuable. For a long time, I couldn't go to any of these conferences because of family obligations, but now in the last couple of years, I've been able to go, and it's very important.
Thank you. Alderman Rainey?
And that's why I'm going. I can now do that. But another thing that's important for us to keep in mind is that we have things that we've done here that we can share. I mean, we've done some pretty special things, and so I'm looking forward to doing some of that also.
Okay, so all of that said, what I'm taking away is that it's not broken and we don't need to fix it. Is that fair to say?
Fix it.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Next item is there's a suggestion to revise how we do the city council consent agenda reading. I think Alderman Rainey had suggested that we make a modification to this. Alderman Rainey, why don't you tell us about it?
Yes. What I would like to see happen is that the chairman of the standing committees present the consent agenda from their committee to the council. And because it only makes sense that the committee chair do their own consent agenda to the council. And then, just one after the other, present the consent agenda. And then when they're finished, the city clerk will call the roll. And then any special items that have been held off the consent agenda, they can explain just as they do now. And that's what I think. And then I could, or however the city clerk wants it handled, the recommendations of the mayor for appointments can be handled. I can do it, or whoever. But I think that's right, because I think the chairman of the committees never appears before the city council, other than if there's something taken off the consent agenda, and I think that's wrong.
All right.
So-
That intuitively makes sense to me. Any
So I
further?
move approval of that.
Is there a second?
Second. Great idea.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of making the change?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
And I
that
suggest
change.
it start tonight.
Is there a motion to start that procedure tonight?
Motion to start tonight?
Is there a second? Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will start that tonight. Okay, last item on the agenda is a proposal regarding the recording of executive session minutes, meetings. Presently, the executive session meetings are recorded with an audio recording, and the city clerk has requested or suggested that we include video recording as well. And that's up for us to discuss tonight. Alderman Fleming.
So I have a question for the clerk, and he mentioned transparency. So is this so that when eventually, I guess it used to be the minutes are released, people can actually see the audio? Or does this also help with just transcribing the minutes? I guess I'm just trying to figure out the reasoning behind moving from audio to video.
The answer is both. So it's transcribing, and also so when the minutes are eventually released, folks can watch the meeting as well. And currently it's audio recorded, and from my understanding, the audio recording isn't released.
That's correct.
Right. Which it could be as well.
Okay, and so then my second question then is, what are they being recorded on, and how do we assure that they are secure once they are recorded until the release date?
We can figure that out. We can figure out various recording options, but it would just be held on a private server until the council votes to release it just as the minutes are held.
Mayor Haggerty.
Clerk Reed, how many other communities around Illinois and around the United States are videotaping the executive sessions?
I'm unsure at this moment.
Okay.
Alderman Braithwaite.
I'm looking at the time, and I know that we have more ahead of us. I'd like to move to leave the recording sessions as is.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Okay. Just audio only, right? And I guess just so the public understands, when we do these executive session meetings, they are in a small conference room, so we don't have the same kind of recording system set up that we have here, and we don't have the official station making those recordings and preserving the record. So I think we would have to, change the setup. So, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, it might be helpful for the audience, since I don't think everyone's been here before, just to explain what we do talk about in executive session.
Okay, well, that's a good point. Executive session are meetings that are not generally held, well, not at all held in the public, but those are for things like personnel issues, negotiation issues, contract issues, things that you wouldn't want to do. You wouldn't want to discuss, for example, a negotiation on the camera because, of course, the people you're negotiating with would know your negotiation strategy. Same thing, you wouldn't want to have be dealing with personnel issues. You wouldn't want to be dealing with your litigation strategy. The city is involved in lawsuits from time to time, so those conversations take place off camera and in the anteroom.
And it's allowed by Illinois statute.
And it's allowed. Is provided for by Illinois statute. In fact, required.
And those minutes are released at some point in the future when those issues are no longer deemed to need to be kept in executive session.
Right. Those minutes do get released. Yes. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of leaving as is? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, everybody. And any new business?
Mr. Chair, Mayor Haggerty reminded me that there is one other item that we'll come back to at a future meeting. There was a request by Alderman Sufferton to come up with a procedure for him to recuse himself with the purchases from the Amazon Corporation. So that is still pending, and we'll come back to you at a future meeting.
All right. Thank you. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn? All right. The City Council meeting will convene at 8:15.